Hello, everyone. Let's try this again. Let's try this again. Um, I was just live with you, but there was no sound. Thank you, whoever you were that told me there was no sound. I was rambling for 5 minutes with no sound. So I wonder if there's a way that I can check my own sound. Anyway, what a funny way to start a live stream. Well, let's try this again. Today, I wanted to come and say hello to you. I wanted to just give some happy, magical vibes to you, send some fun things, fun energy your way. And I wanted to share this beautiful article with you. This is from a part of a newspaper that we were reading on the way up to the Metropolitan Museum of Art the other weekend, the Magical Temple of Art in New York City. And this article was so beautiful. It really brought a tear to my eye. So I thought that I would share it with you. And so I will read that in a minute. And I also wanted to play you a magical wassail from this beautiful book. It's called A Fiddling Christmas. And anyway, just come hang out with you a little bit. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm just worried that nobody can actually hear me at all. So if you're here, can you let me know if you can hear me? Because I was just here earlier and there was no sound. I'm hoping that you can all hear me. Let's see. Well, let's just hope that you can hear me. Why don't I start out with this beautiful tune? This is a wassail, and wassails are, oh, hi, can you hear me, Rudimar? You must be able to hear me. I was just here and there was no sound, so I'm just starting it over again. A wassail is an old kind of toast to your farm and all of the plants and animals on your farm. And at the end of the year, you would go find the most productive tree or plant or animal, and you would drink a little toast to it, which is a wassail. Oh, good. Okay. Thank you so much for letting me know. You would drink a little toast to this tree or animal or plant and say thank you to it, and also hope that that little tree or plant inspires the other plants on the farm to be just as productive. So it's really sweet. This one's called the Gloucestershire wassail. Gloucestershire wassail. It's really lovely. You'll probably recognize it. So hopefully you can hear me. I hear the viola all right. So. It's not sweet. I hope you recognize that. It's just kind of a fun magical tune. So let's have a little sip of coffee. Cheers. A wassail to you. Hopefully, you're just as productive and happy in this year as you are next year and better years to come, and all of the things from a wassail, all the good vibes from a wassail. So, before we jump into this magical article, I just want to also say that, like, look at my magical background. With the live streams, I've been noticing that, to go back on the subject of the sound, that the sound really hasn't been that good. Um, so I'm probably still struggling with it a little bit. But I think one of the reasons why the first live stream didn't have any sound was I was not using my microphone, which I have here. And it's odd because this is a really nice microphone. It's not on right now, and I just unplugged it, and I've noticed that when I play the viola, the sound really isn't, at least for live streams, working well with this microphone. It's actually better. It seems better without the microphone. So it's something that I'm kind of tinkering around with. But my husband said that it's possibly just due to the acoustics of this room with the sound bouncing around. So we got this fun little backdrop. It's actually a backdrop. So hopefully it helps with the sound a little bit. Last night, you guys, we had a really special guest artist at our monthly guest artist class. I have those over on Patreon, and you can join them. There's an archive of over 2 years of guest artist classes every month. And this month we had a really special guest artist, Jason Anik, who's the author of this book here, Violin Fingerboard Mastery. He's a jazz violinist, an incredible teacher. And we went through a little section of his book last night, and it was just a lot of fun. So if you are interested in learning about jazz or improvisation, check out Jason Anik's channel, and hopefully he'll be able to come back for another guest artist class in the future. But another book that I have to show you from a guest artist that we've had several times is this magical book. This is called Learn Faster, Perform Better. It's by Molly Gabrian or Jebrian. I think I don't know how to pronounce her last name correctly. But Molly also has a wonderful YouTube channel. And if you've ever struggled with just memorization, we all struggle with memorization, performance, learn faster, perform better. It's not just for us musicians, but it's geared towards musicians. There's lots of like little pictures and diagrams and supplementary material, and it's great. So anyway, 2 books I wanted to just show you and pass on. Next month in September, we have the one and only Tracy Silverman coming to do a guest artist class with us the beginning of the month, beginning of September. I think it's September 5th. It's a Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And he's going to talk to us about the strum bowing technique. So that will be fun. And I know Tracy has lots of videos too. But anyway, let's get into this magical little article. This is called An Escape into the Comfort of Music. So let me just read you a little bit of this. It's so sweet. I think it'll probably bring a little tear to your eye. So here we go. It's not that long, so hopefully they don't mind me reading this, but if they do, then that's fine. I'd rather just pass it on to you so that you're aware of it. So An Escape into the Comfort of Music, and we've got these sweet little girls on the front here playing music. It says, in a fleeting respite, students from troubled nations perform at Carnegie Hall, sending hope to those at home. By Javier C. Hernandez, photographs by Graham Dickey. As the tour boat to New York Harbor approached the Statue of Liberty, Miranda Marin, a 12-year-old violinist from Venezuela, turned to a group of friends gathered near the bow, and jumped up and down. "We're here," she shouted, taking pictures of the statue's crown. "Can you believe it?" Marin, along with more than 160 members of the National Children's Symphony of Venezuela, had come to New York for a week-long festival that ended on Wednesday at Carnegie Hall. The festival, known as World Orchestra Week, featured more than 700 student musicians from 38 countries, including China, Nigeria, Germany, Afghanistan, Israel, Ukraine, and the United States. From 38 countries. They're all able to perform here at Carnegie Hall. World Orchestra Week, which is so cool. When they were not practicing Beethoven, Hinastera, or folk music, the young artist toured New York by boat, bus, and subway, venturing out for pizza and ice cream. The Venezuelans held a dance party and played a card game called Saida, I'm not sure, on a circle line cruise. The Afghan students toured the Juilliard School and the United Nations and visited the top of Rockefeller Center. Night after night, the students were Carnegie's main attraction, taking to the stage to perform Tchaikovsky, Mahler, Dvorak. I just want to point out, like, the main character that we've just encountered, she's 12 years old, which is really sweet. It's really amazing the opportunities that music gives children. I think it brought a tear to my eye because it really reminded me of my childhood and how much music exposed me to the world and to people from from various countries, and just being able to get together to play music together. It's magic. So here's some more pictures. You can see them doing their little tour around New York. It's not much longer, just bear with me. So, and more with their orchestras. And night after night, the hall was packed when tens of thousands of people, including friends and family back home, tuned in to live broadcasts by the classical music station WQXR. The Venezuelans, whose time at the festival coincided with the eruption of unrest in their country after a disputed presidential election, brought the house down with an encore of the Mambo from West Side Story. The Afghans, who had fled Kabul for Portugal after the Taliban reasserted control in 2021, earned whistles and cheers for a program featuring traditional instruments like the rubab, sitar, and tabla. For many students, World Orchestra Week, the first of its kind in Carnegie's history, provided a moment of escape from political and economic turmoil back home. With the help of translation apps and Instagram, they built cross-cultural friendships, sharing Taylor Swift songs, tips on mastering complicated rhythms, and photos of pet hamsters and celebrity crushes. For a few very short minutes, said Inercio Macomb, a 23-year-old cellist from Mozambique, we can forget everything bad in the world and focus on what we love. It makes me teary to read that. For a very few short minutes, said Inercio Macomb, a 23-year-old cellist from Mozambique, we can forget everything bad in the world and focus on what we love. Some said they felt guilty at times because they were in a safe and comfortable place while their relatives were suffering. Jora Ahmadi, a 15-year-old trumpet player, has been trying to reassure her 12-year-old sister back in Afghanistan who can't enroll in school. She's always sending me messages and crying and asking, "What should I do?" She said, "I don't know how I can comfort her." Her cousin, Farida Ahmadi, a 15-year-old violinist, has recently received messages from friends who are having trouble finding food and shelter. It's hard for those who are living there, and it's hard for those who are far from there, she said. It's really difficult to hold it all in yourself. We're just wondering what the future is for our country. The trauma of war sometimes resurfaced in unexpected ways. Leila Hemovich, a 17-year-old violist from Israel, yay Viola, was anxious when a fire alarm went off during a rehearsal. It reminded her of an air raid siren. Hemovich, who is part of a Polyphony ensemble, an ensemble that brings together young Arab and Jewish musicians, asked an American colleague if the United States had bomb shelters. He gave her a confused look. Everyone was so chill about it, she said, but for us, the war is constant. Hemovich said she had new appreciation for a piece that she was playing in New York. Scheherazade by Rimsky-Korsakov, inspired by the tale of a woman who must tell stories to save her life. When a conductor asked if anyone in the orchestra could imagine a situation in which they would not know if they might live another day, Hemovich nodded. "We know these feelings," she said. Dana Ilemi, a 17-year-old Palestinian violinist in Polyphony, said music had allowed her to stay grounded since the Israel-Hamas war broke out in October. "The war saddens me, thinking of all the innocent civilians," she said. "This is only a temporary escape." World Orchestra Week was conceived by Carnegie Hall several years before the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the Israel-Hamas war, and the tumult in Venezuela. Top conductors and soloists signed on to lead the youth ensembles in programs that included arduous staples of the repertoire and pieces with more local flair. Gustavo Dudamel, he's my favorite conductor, one of my most favorite conductors. The Venezuelan maestro conducted Shostakovich's Symphony No. 5 and other works with the National Children's Symphony of Venezuela. He also led a mass play-in with a nearly 700-person orchestra at the Jacob K. Javits Convention Center in Manhattan on Monday. Ivan Fischer led the European Union Youth Orchestra in a performance of Mahler's Symphony No. 1. Marin Alsop was on the podium with the National Youth Orchestra of the United States of America for the performance of Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue. And the pianist Jean-Yves Thibaudet, Lou Jia led the Beijing Symphony Youth Orchestra in Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 5. Anyway, it's just such a beautiful article. It just reminds me of how music brings us all together, and it just the things that these kids are going through. It's like they're from 38 different countries in the world. 700 kids in New York to perform at Carnegie Hall and just play music together. The things that they're going through and how music is an escape into a comfortable little bubble to be in. It's such a special article. So I'll probably have to like frame this or find a way to preserve it because it's such a beautiful article. It's from Saturday, August 10th, 2024. It's in the arts of the New York Times newspaper. So if you want to look it up. Anyway. Well, with that, you guys, I really hope you could hear me. I hope that you have a magical day, and I hope that music is a little time for just you and your instrument to just have a little bit of music bubble time, to just escape from all the other things that are going on in your life. Because at least for that one moment, you just can't focus on anything else. You're just there with your instrument. You're here with the sound. You're playing something beautiful or trying to play something beautiful. And it's just special. This is an art that it's an art that teaches you about yourself as well. And it's just your time. It's not anyone else's time. It's just your time. And it's precious. So whenever we, have to practice, it's actually such a blessing to be able to practice. And sometimes it can be hard to see it that way, especially if you're in music school, but just trying to remember this is actually a really precious, sacred time to have with my instrument. So anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox. I have a special friend coming over to have a little cup of tea with me today. I befriended her at a little sewing store. She's been working on fixing a dress for me, and I'm so excited. We're going to have a cup of tea, and I'm going to try on the dress and make some adjustments if needed. But it's so fun to befriend, I'm not sure what to call her, a seamstress, somebody who can sew. I really, really wish that I could sew. If you can sew out there, that's amazing. Anyway, so with that, I will love and leave you. I hope you are all doing well, and I hope to see you next Friday at our next little live stream. All right. Lots of love, you guys. Thank you for coming by today. Bye. Bye-bye.